The Daisy series paintings were the pledge of my love for my wife, Victoria Sterling. She had always treated them as treasures, insisting even I wash my hands and burn incense before touching them. When I discovered she had given one of them to her male assistant, I knew, no matter how passionate our love once was, it had now rotted and soured. This relationship had to end. Just as I was about to pull back, Victoria, eyes red, begged me to save Sterling Corp. With my money. I pushed her hand away. I wiped away her tears, my voice calm. Why would I save a company that I brought down? Chapter 1. Victoria's calls came one after another. Only when the screen was full of missed call notifications did I reluctantly answer. Sincere Clark, are you crazy? Why suddenly auction the Daisy series? Don't you know what they mean to me? And you actually dared to have someone threaten Evan? I've told you many times, Evan Shaw is just my assistant. Are you jealous even of him? In all our years of marriage, this was the first time Victoria had yelled at me. And here I was, naively thinking she might offer some satisfactory explanation after I finally responded. Instead, it was just useless nonsense. I delivered my ultimatum directly. If you say they mean so much to you, why did you give one to Evan Shaw? Did I allow it? You have 10 minutes. If Evan Shaw maintains his attitude and refuses to return it, don't blame me for suing him until he rots in jail. Before Victoria could react, I hung up and immediately called the gallery. Are you sure about this? Auctioning the entire Daisy series? The gallery manager, Mr. Harrison, sounded thrilled. Mr. Clark, rest assured, these paintings will fetch an astronomical price. I smirked. That's right, all of them. Not a single painting from the Daisy series can be missing. I want them all auctioned off. News of my paintings being auctioned quickly started trending online. Time was running out for Evan Shaw. Soon, Mr. Harrison called me, anxiously telling me one painting was missing. As for which one was missing, I smiled and opened a video on my phone. A cheerful male voice chirped. Boss took me to see the art exhibition. I scrolled through the comments, all of them shipping Evan and Victoria. One comment read, I remember this exhibition was organized by a tycoon. He has a super famous Daisy Beloved Wife series, but unfortunately it's not for sale. Boss took you inside, blogger. Don't you understand Boss Sister's feelings yet? Evan quickly replied to this comment. It was a picture. A photograph of a hanging daisy painting. Is this the kind of daisy painting you mean? I needed decorations when I moved last time, so Boss lent it to me. Chapter 2. With that statement, I saw Evan's follower count shoot up. Many people declared they were totally shipping them. Looking at the flood of supportive comments and that photograph, I had to admit, even though I had mentally prepared myself, facing it again still unsettled me. When I first saw that video, Evan's clumsy little tricks nearly drove me insane. My declaration of love, announced to the world, had been casually regifted by Victoria to Evan Shaw. How could I not hate it? Hate it so much I almost wanted to use my power to fire Evan immediately, to show him the dire consequences of seducing another man's wife. I took a deep breath and forwarded the screenshot to Mr. Harrison. Mr. Harrison understood immediately and assured me, Mr. Clark, don't worry. We'll get that painting back right away. Our team is professional. If he refuses, we'll take him to court immediately online. I hired promoters to push the news of my painting's theft to the top trending spot. Following that was the exposure of Evan's video. As for Sterling Corporation, people had already been buzzing when the gallery started collecting the paintings, let alone now with the revelation on Evan's account. Evan, seeing the attacks in the comments section, was distraught all day, his face pale. Holding back tears, under the gallery's supervision, he retrieved the painting. Then, stubbornly clutching it, he went to Victoria's office. Said CEO Sterling, I'm not a thief. I'm returning the painting to you and Mr. Clark right now. Chapter 3. After receiving the painting, I dropped the lawsuit against Evan Shaw. I sent Victoria a video of me burning that specific painting. This is the first time, and it better be the last. Otherwise, you know what I'm capable of. Victoria didn't reply. I knew she was angry. I was equally angry. That night, Victoria didn't come home. I knew this was her way of venting her dissatisfaction. I didn't care. Because I felt we both needed space to seriously consider if this precarious marriage was worth continuing. After Victoria achieved success, many men threw themselves at her, but she always handled them appropriately. But now, my gut told me this male assistant, Evan Shaw, wasn't so simple. Sure enough, not long after the painting incident, I saw Evan's account post another video. The content was, as usual, documenting Evan's daily life. Except when Evan reached the entrance of his residential complex, a familiar Bentley pulled up in front of him. I gripped my phone, disbelief washing over me. When Evan's voice came from the video, my hopeful heart shattered. "Good morning, boss." With that, Evan took out a prepared breakfast from his bag and handed it over. Even though the video didn't show the boss's face, I recognized her instantly. It was Victoria, my wife. I immediately downloaded the video, replaying the frames where the car's interior was visible. No doubt about it. It was her. During these hours of our Cold War, I was tossing and turning because of her, while she was carefree. Even the white dress Victoria was wearing was one I had picked out for her. "Feeling unwell?" the video continued. Victoria's cool voice held a barely perceptible trace of concern. Then she lowered the car window and asked Evan, "Better now?" The camera scanned the car's interior, showing the man comfortably seated in the passenger seat. "Actually, I don't usually get carsick. It's just today the scent inside feels a bit strong. The fragrance?" Just because of Evan's one sentence, I watched as the calming sachet I had personally arranged for Victoria was removed. "What's this? A sachet?" As the video showed Evan playing with the sachet, I took the lovingly prepared lunchbox from Mrs. Davies, our housekeeper, and drove to Victoria's company. I wasn't going to deliver warmth. I was going to settle the score. Chapter 4. The receptionist knew me and respectfully escorted me to the top floor. The top floor housed Victoria's private lounge. Everyone in the company knew it was our private domain. Even for work matters, they would knock and wait outside. It contained not only some business secrets but also the tokens of our love accumulated over the years. Every painting in the Daisy series carried my love for Victoria. Unfortunately, when Victoria gave my artwork to Evan Shaw as a decoration, the meaning of the Daisy series was lost. Just as I composed myself and prepared to open the door, I heard a man's voice from inside. "Boss, I couldn't find the file you mentioned." I pushed the door open and came face to face with a man smiling sweetly while on the phone. Evan Shaw was inside. He was currently organizing files at Victoria's desk. "Mr. Clark?" Evan's face turned deathly pale upon seeing me. The phone was on speaker, and I could still hear Victoria's concerned voice through the screen. Evan's voice held a fawning tone. "Mr. Clark, you're here? Miss Sterling is in a meeting and asked me to come get a file." I gestured for Evan to give me the phone. He reluctantly handed it over. "It's me." Those two simple words plunged the other end of the line into silence. After a moment, just as I was wondering if Victoria had even recognized my voice, she spoke. "Why do you have Evan's phone? Did you bully him again?" I raised an eyebrow, looking at Evan, who wore a wronged expression as if I had oppressed him terribly. My tone was flat. "Didn't the receptionist tell you I came to bring you lunch? I'll come up right now." Watching the disconnected phone, I placed it on the coffee table and sat down heavily on the sofa. As per Victoria's strict request, the Daisy series had to remain in the lounge until the auction began. So when Victoria rushed in, she saw me smiling and introducing the paintings in the lounge to Evan Shaw. This one depicts our first meeting at the Little Daisy kindergarten. Quite a dramatic encounter. This one was painted on our first date. It's also the only one in the Daisy series with portraits. This one was painted the day we got together. Half by me, half by her. Sincere. Victoria interrupted me. I watched Evan's eyes light up at Victoria's arrival, as if I were some monster and she was his savior. I looked at Victoria with a smile. Since when could anyone just walk into the top floor lounge? "I remember you fired your last secretary for entering without permission, didn't you?" Evan lowered his head at my words, but I didn't miss the aggrieved look he shot Victoria. I turned back to Victoria. She gently rubbed her temples, avoiding eye contact with Evan, and quickly walked over to sit beside me. I got held up in a meeting and asked him to grab a file. Besides, he just graduated from college. He's still learning the ropes. Why pick on him? Anyway, what you two are arguing about is just a painting. Sincere, why are you so angry? Chapter 5. Just a painting. I watched Victoria wink at Evan, as if saying, I covered for you this time, don't let it happen again. They exchanged glances right in front of me. Naturally, I didn't miss the flutter of emotion in Evan's eyes when he looked at Victoria. I suddenly understood why Evan was so brazen. It was the tacit approval and indulgence from his superior. No wonder the subordinate could act so lawlessly. However, their little power play romance should never have involved me. You still have the appetite to eat? Without another word, I knocked the lunchbox in front of Victoria onto the floor. Before Victoria could speak, I snapped, Do you two think I'm blind, carrying on your secret affair right under my nose? Evan started to explain, but I slapped him across the face. I glared at him. Do you have any right to speak here? Sincere Clark, are you crazy? Why did you hit him? Victoria didn't move, but her eyes, looking at Evan, were full of apology. I sneered, looking at Evan. Just an aspiring homewrecker trying to climb the ladder. Can't I even hit him? Before Victoria could calm me down, the commotion on the top floor attracted Nathaniel Price, her special assistant. He knocked on the door, politely inquiring what had happened. I looked at Evan, mocking him. See? That's how an assistant should behave. Know your place. Evan's face turned white, instinctively glancing at Victoria's expression. Victoria, finding cleaning supplies from somewhere, completely ignored Evan and knelt on the floor, cleaning up the lunch I had spilled. Victoria showed no intention of helping Evan out of his predicament. In the end, it was Nathaniel Price who intervened and escorted Evan away. Chapter 6. In all the time we'd been together, Victoria had never spoken a harsh word to me. Whether at home or outside, it was always me being sarcastic and angry, while Victoria would at most try to placate me. If she saw I was genuinely furious, she'd stop persuading and just go along with me. Today was the same. Victoria initially wanted to say a few words in Evan's defense, but seeing my real anger, she immediately chose not to help him. Once the spilled lunch was cleaned up, the top floor lounge was again just the two of us. Without a word, Victoria came over and snuggled into my arms. Usually calm and self-possessed, she now nuzzled her head against my chest repeatedly. Don't be angry anymore, okay? I was wrong. I promise I won't be lazy again and let others into our secret sanctuary. I looked at Victoria's charming, pleading smile in my arms, then remembered the painting in Evan's video. Was it really just the top floor lounge? It was clear Evan was slowly infiltrating every aspect of Victoria's life, yet the person involved remained oblivious. Last time, Victoria's smile froze for a second, then she started acting cute again. I won't listen, you petty, small-minded person. Sincere Clark is small-minded. I stroked Victoria's hair, but the sense of crisis didn't fade with her coquettishness. Sincere, I promise. Evan Shaw is just my subordinate. There's absolutely no chance of us crossing any lines. I looked into Victoria's earnest eyes and gave a soft M&M, not pointing out that her act was solely to stop me from making things difficult for Evan. But it also made me more certain that the love in our marriage had thinned to the point of mutual distrust. I didn't believe Victoria was entirely innocent, and she didn't believe I wouldn't settle scores later. The promises Victoria once made to me, the paintings, the lounge, they were all rapidly crumbling. Chapter 7. Before the auction came my birthday. Usually this time was reserved for just Victoria and me, but this year I didn't want that. I notified my friends and organized a birthday party. As everyone was cheerfully congratulating me, my childhood best friend, Oliver Quinn, pulled me aside. What's going on with you and Victoria lately? Oliver always got straight to the point. I thought for a moment and replied calmly, Nothing much. Nothing much? You're still covering for Victoria at this point? I froze as Oliver held his phone up to my face. He said, exasperated for my sake, "See for yourself." The screen showed a recent tabloid report. Shocking Sterling Corporation CEO's late-night rendezvous suspected affair. I checked. This mystery man is Evan Shaw, supposedly Victoria's new assistant. That pretty boy even dared to follow her to your birthday party today. I think they're just taking advantage of your good nature. Just wait, I'll settle this score for you. I stopped the furious Oliver, intending to tell him my plans before he exploded. But then a commotion erupted from the pool area in the front yard. Oliver and I rushed over to find Evan Shaw soaking wet, wrapped in a towel, while Victoria anxiously dabbed water from his forehead. Seeing me arrive, Victoria looked at me coldly. "Sincere Clark, I've told you many times, Evan and I are innocent. You may not believe my words, but you didn't have to have your people push him into the pool, did you?" My gaze fell on my younger cousin, Chloe Clark, who had just climbed out of the pool. She was shivering. I asked her with concern, "Are you all right?" Chloe looked at Victoria with red eyes. "Sis-in-law, I really didn't push him. He jumped in himself." Victoria refused to listen, scoffing. "Enough, I know you all have prejudices against Evan. Pushing him into the water is one thing, but now you're even slandering him. If that's the case, we'll just skip this birthday party." With that, Victoria started to leave with Evan, but Oliver called them back. "What right do you two have to come and go as you please?" I confirmed with Chloe again, looking at her trembling form. "Don't be afraid. I'll stand up for you." I already fully believed my cousin. Chloe could be willful, but she wasn't someone without boundaries. Conversely, the usually composed Victoria was now acting so irrationally, readily siding with Evan against me, the person who had been by her side for over 20 years based on his provocation. A cold sneer formed inwardly. Ignoring Victoria, I said to Oliver, "My cousin doesn't make baseless accusations." Evan Shaw apologized to her. Chapter 8. Sincere Clark. Stop being unreasonable and bullying Evan. Victoria, completely unaware she was being used as a weapon by Evan, charged into battle for him. I looked at Victoria shielding Evan like a mother hen and asked with a smile, "You protect him like this and still say there's nothing between you? It's precisely because you keep targeting Evan that I have to protect him. Am I supposed to stand by and watch you bully someone? You think I'm bullying him?" At that moment, I finally saw Victoria Sterling for who she was. I once loved her reckless heroism, thinking she was the heroine of my youth. But now, that self-righteous sense of justice had become a sharp sword, ruthlessly cutting me to pieces. I laughed, staring at Evan. "This place has surveillance cameras. Right and wrong will be clear at a glance." "Evan Shaw, do you dare to watch?" Evan tugged at Victoria's sleeve. "CEO Sterling, let's go. I don't want to worsen the relationship between you two because of me." Victoria looked at me with disappointment. "Sincere, Evan has already backed down this much. Don't keep pushing it. Let's leave each other some dignity." "Dignity?" I glanced around at the gossiping onlookers, not minding if this farce got even bigger. "Victoria Sterling, let's get a divorce." Chapter 9. As soon as the words left my lips, a dead silence fell over the surroundings. Victoria's eyes widened in disbelief, staring intently at me. "Just because I didn't make Evan Shaw apologize to you, you want to divorce me? Sincere Clark, are you crazy? Do you know what you're saying?" "I am perfectly lucid. I am telling you very responsibly that I want a divorce." I pulled out the divorce papers I had prepared earlier and placed them on a nearby table. "Victoria Sterling, I told you I don't tolerate deceit in my life. Giving the Daisy series painting to Evan Shaw is nothing. Letting him into the private lounge is nothing. Keeping a man who clearly has feelings for you by your side is nothing." I took a deep breath. I'm not throwing a tantrum, I'm genuinely tired. In a couple of days, the gallery will come to collect the Daisy series. I don't want the paintings anymore, and I don't want you anymore. It's all my fault. Without another word, Evan Shaw ran off crying. Victoria instinctively started to chase after him. Finally, Victoria turned back to look at me. "I know you're just saying things in anger today. I'll give you one last chance. If you want to reconcile, go apologize to Evan." After Victoria left, Oliver sat beside me, cursing her and Evan. I didn't speak, simply because I had received the best birthday gift ever. I once thought the best birthday gift was Victoria's unwavering love day after day. But now the best gift was the paper in my hand. An acceptance letter from the Milan Design Institute. Oliver stared at me, stunned. "Why are you going abroad now? To let that wretched pair have their way?" I shook my head, my gaze firm. "It's not that I'm giving Victoria away. It's that I don't want her anymore." Having made my decision, I called my legal team. "Yes, I want a divorce. I need you to handle the property division. I want every cent that's rightfully mine. I want to make Victoria Sterling pay dearly." After the law firm assured me they would sort out the divorce details within 3 days, my actions were noticed by my father, Arthur Clark. His call came through. "Are you really divorcing Victoria? It's just a junior assistant." "If he bothers you," I interrupted my father. "Dad, even without Evan Shaw, there would have been someone else. It's not just about Evan interfering. The main thing is, Victoria and I don't work anymore. We don't work anymore." The vows of eternal love and sweet nothings of the past had ultimately been exhausted by the day-to-day superficialities of our life. After a long pause, my father sighed. "If you want a divorce, then get one. Your mother and I have missed you a lot while we've been abroad." Looking at the acceptance letter, I smiled. "I'll be able to join you and Mom soon." While I was preparing my entrance portfolio for the Milan Design Institute, Evan Shaw's videos continued to be updated. I watched Victoria keep him by her side constantly, involving him in important meetings, guiding him step by step to become more reliable and steady. I saw them stealing moments of leisure, Victoria even taking Evan sightseeing during business trips. Finally, Evan personally painted a portrait of Victoria. Victoria held the painting, her face beaming with happiness. This photo also became the background of Evan's social media profile. At this point, I stopped watching Evan's videos, as I already had more than enough evidence of Victoria's infidelity. After blocking Evan, I told myself his cheap tricks were childish tactics I'd seen before. He was living on borrowed time. I'd let him jump around a little longer. Chapter 10. As the Daisy series fetched astronomical prices at auction, the reasons behind the sale were unearthed. Victoria finally couldn't resist calling me. "Who actually sold the paintings? Did you forget they were our pledge of love? To you have any idea how much this has affected the company's stock price?" Hearing Victoria's words made me want to laugh. She was the one who cheated first, got caught red-handed. Yet instead of confronting Evan, who was milking the online attention, or the paparazzi who reported it, she targeted me. What leverage did she think she had? Surely she couldn't still believe I loved her. "Oh, forgot, you or me. You know better than I do." So I thought I made myself perfectly clear that day. "If you don't sign the divorce papers, then we'll see each other in court." With that, I immediately hung up. Just then Oliver rushed over excitedly to share news with me. "You wouldn't believe the mess Evan Shaw has made of Sterling Corporation." Only then did I learn that Victoria, in her effort to train Evan, had actually put him in charge of one of her most important projects. The result, naturally, was a disaster. Even though it was Evan who had thrown the company into turmoil, Victoria only called to question me. Ridiculous. I thought for a moment, then looked at Oliver. "I remember your family's business is in a similar sector to Sterling's, right?" Oliver looked surprised at the gratuitous share transfer agreement in my hand. "Although Sterling's stock is down now, if they survive this, these dividends could be substantial." "Are you serious? Don't mention it. While Sterling still has a pulse, let's give it a few more pushes." After all, Victoria had already called me to account. If I didn't do something, it wouldn't be fair to her accusations, would it? Business competition is always a zero-sum game, with Sterling Corp. On the brink, naturally, many aspiring companies would want a piece of the pie. Less than half a month later, Sterling Corp. was just one step away from declaring bankruptcy. As I was submitting my entrance portfolio, building management called, saying Victoria and Evan Shaw were causing a scene at the complex entrance, demanding to be let in. Ms. Sterling says she won't leave until she sees you. What should we do? I stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, silently watching the farce downstairs, sighed, and said, "Let them come up." Chapter 11. Seeing Victoria again, she had lost a lot of weight and looked disheveled, a far cry from her former commanding presence. "Whatever it is, let's clear it all up today." Victoria stared intently at me. "Sincere, I've investigated everything. On your birthday, Evan jumped into the pool himself. It's all my fault. I wrongly trusted him back then. I've brought him here now to apologize to you. Belated affection is cheaper than dirt, especially since I no longer needed Victoria's affection. Are you finished?" Seeing the hopeful look on Victoria's face, my voice remained calm. "You can't possibly still think that just by clearing up the misunderstanding, we can go back to how things were, can you? It seems you still don't understand. Misunderstanding or not, we are already over." No, Victoria suddenly lunged forward and hugged me, her face streaked with tears. "I won't allow it. I won't allow you to say it's over. I only made a small mistake, and I've already apologized. I really didn't cheat. Why won't you believe me? Why do you still want a divorce?" My gaze fell on the silent Evan Shaw. "Your boss sister is crying. Aren't you going to comfort her?" At my words, Evan suddenly became agitated, realization dawning on him. "It was you. I kept wondering why my videos never got much traffic, and then suddenly blew up overnight. It was you, wasn't it? You saw the videos early on, and selling the paintings was just to get back at me." I laughed. Even if everything Evan said was true, so what? The fact was, I had won. Seeing me laugh, Evan instantly connected all the dots. He grabbed Victoria. "Victoria, stop crying, Sterling. Becoming like this must be Sincere Clark's doing. Maybe my project failing was also him." Victoria suddenly slapped Evan across the face. Evan froze, stunned, holding his face, looking at Victoria in disbelief. "You are just my assistant. Who gave you permission to call me so intimately?" Chapter 12. I watched the stunned Evan Shaw without speaking, quietly observing the spectacle. As they say, when dogs bite dogs, you just get fur. Evan had ill intentions, but was Victoria Sterling some paragon of virtue who adhered strictly to boundaries? Evan glared venomously at me but was kicked out by Victoria. She looked at me fearfully, seemingly trying to curry favor. "The videos, yes, the videos." Victoria fumbled for her phone, explaining frantically, "Sincere. When I gave him a ride, it was because he kept pestering me, saying he felt unwell. And that trip, it was purely because I wanted the people around me to have some worldliness, so they wouldn't embarrass me when we were out. That's the only reason I took him." Victoria was still talking, but I cut her off. "What about the painting?" I pointed to the portrait in the video. "You once told me you wanted to be my muse for life, that no one besides me could paint you. And now? Why was Evan Shaw allowed?" I gently pushed away Victoria's hand, clinging to my sleeve, sighing. "Admit it, Victoria. Emotional infidelity is still infidelity. When you were with Evan Shaw, you had long forgotten the promises you made to me." No, Victoria tried to grab me tightly again, tilting her head up, her eyes filled with remorseful tears. "Sincere, I know I wronged you. But can you, for the sake of our past, lend me some money?" Victoria's voice grew quieter, her head bowed. "I know this is an outrageous request, but if you lend me the money to help Sterling Corp. Through this crisis, I will definitely pay you back. How much?" 400 million. Assuming USD based on context, I laughed. "Not a penny more, not a penny less. Exactly the amount the Daisy series sold for, isn't it?" Victoria's face flushed crimson, but she stammered on. "Without me, you couldn't have painted those pictures. I just need the money for an emergency. Besides, aren't you also a shareholder of Sterling? If Sterling does well, you get dividends too." My smile slowly faded. "Sorry, I'm not in the habit of lending money to my ex-wife. And who said I'm a Sterling shareholder anymore? Victoria froze, stunned. I bent down, wiped away her tears, my voice calm. Things have been chaotic at Sterling these past few days, right? Has the Quinn family been causing a lot of trouble for Sterling? Yes, exactly. I transferred my shares to Oliver Quinn. Victoria's lips moved slightly, her eyes filled with misery as she looked at me. Why? Are you only happy when you see Sterling bankrupt and me with nothing? Yes, I am. I couldn't wait for Sterling to go under. So, do you really expect me to save a company that I brought down? Chapter 13. After our conversation, Victoria left, utterly dejected. Shortly after, she signed the divorce papers. The Quinn family's attacks on Sterling Corp were intensifying. I had no time to worry about Victoria's fate. After getting my visa sorted, I was flying to Milan to continue my studies. On the way to the airport, a van suddenly darted out from a corner. Luckily, my driver was experienced and swerved sharply, avoiding an accident. My bodyguards quickly got out and apprehended the driver. It was Evan Shaw. Oliver had told me that after Victoria fired him, no one would hire him, and he was living quite miserably. Seeing me, Evan struggled violently, trying to lunge at me. It's all your fault, you ruined me. I looked at Evan's slightly crazed appearance, kept a safe distance, and immediately called the police. I think you've misunderstood something. Victoria fired you because your seduction failed and was exposed, and because you lacked the ability to make her indispensable. That's why she could dismiss you so easily. Nonsense. I was almost successful. Everything was getting better. It was you who had to interfere and ruin everything. You're rich. Anyway, why did you have to fight me for this opportunity? On what grounds? I looked down at Evan condescendingly. Where were you when Victoria fought her half-sisters for the inheritance? Where were you when Victoria used my money to start her business? When you were using sweet talk trying to climb the ladder, did you ever ask yourself on what grounds? In my eyes, a lowlife like you, scheming to reach the top in one leap, deserves to get absolutely nothing. My words hit Evan's raw nerve. He looked like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, his face ghastly pale. He struggled against the bodyguard's hold, shouting incessantly, "Shut up, we were truly in love. It wasn't sordid like you say. What does truly in love mean? If Victoria were just an ordinary person, would Evan Shaw still willingly be the other man? Really? If you were truly in love, why did she abandon you so easily?" Hitting his sore spot, Evan's face began to contort. "Sincere Clark, I hope you die a horrible death. I'm going to kill you." The bodyguards quickly muffled Evan's mouth and dragged him away. After giving my statement, my legal team quickly arrived and filed charges against Evan Shaw for attempted murder. Boarding the plane to Milan, I felt a sudden twinge of disappointment. Who would have thought Evan Shaw would self-destruct like this? A pity about the trap I had carefully laid for him. Chapter 14. As soon as the plane landed, I saw my parents, Eleanor and Arthur Clark, waiting for me at the airport. My mother dabbed her eyes, saying I looked thinner, and lamenting how I had been wronged. I quickly comforted her. "Don't be upset. At least I cut my losses in time." Life studying in Milan passed quickly. The semester flew by in the blink of an eye. It wasn't until the winter break that I heard news about Victoria and Evan Shaw. Evan Shaw was ultimately sentenced to 3 years in prison. Apparently, men with his delicate features are at the bottom of the prison hierarchy, and Oliver Quinn had even arranged for some special attention for him. It was safe to assume Evan's days were not easy. As for Victoria, standing upstairs, I watched the stubborn figure under the streetlight. Oliver, hearing I was back in the country, immediately threw a grand welcome-back party for me. "Tisk, why is this woman so persistent? Didn't you already divorce her?" My gaze shifted away from Victoria, my tone flat. "Ignore her. Let's continue." The party went on late into the night, and eventually a light dusting of snow began to fall. Victoria waited like that until we finished. When I saw her, her eyelashes were coated with snowflakes. Sincere Clark Victoria's eyes lit up when she saw me. Seeing her like this reminded me of when we first got together. To help her successfully inherit Sterling Corporation, to get her small company recognized, I spent countless nights navigating dinner parties and networking events. Even though she could have relied on established connections, Victoria still pushed herself, drinking until she developed bleeding stomach ulcers. I had endured those social functions for her sake. I lowered my gaze, telling myself it was all in the past. No need to invest in someone unworthy. I initially wanted to walk away quickly, but Victoria caught up to me. She breathed out puffs of cold air, her eyes welling up with tears as she looked at me. "Sincere, you're finally back. I've missed you so much these past 6 months." Chapter 15. It was too deliberate. During my 6 months in Milan, Oliver occasionally updated me on Victoria. After Sterling Corporation went bankrupt, the Sterling family used their years of savings to start a new venture, which was apparently doing reasonably well now. However, Reginald Sterling, Victoria's father, was thoroughly disappointed in her. Apart from giving her regular dividends, he no longer valued her as before. The fight for the Sterling family inheritance was still fierce, but this time Victoria had been completely kicked out of the running. So, it didn't take much thought to figure out why Victoria was so fixated on me. Holding on to me was like a drowning person clutching the last straw. Except, not all broken mirrors can be mended. I would never love her like before. Some mistakes are worth remembering for a lifetime. "Shouldn't you be visiting Evan Shaw in prison? Why are you waiting here for me?" "No, Sincere, let me explain. There was really nothing between Evan and me." I stopped walking, my eyes showing impatience. "Do you really want to force me to say whose child you were carrying?" Victoria Sterling maintained some dignity. "Don't make me lose all respect for you. The child—" "Wait, weren't you in Milan? How do you know?" I hadn't wanted to know about Victoria's abortion at the hospital either. Unfortunately, I had an old acquaintance at the hospital who didn't know Victoria and I had divorced. When my friend urgently told me Victoria was pregnant, I was stunned too, then immediately realized the child wasn't mine. Calculating the dates, that was around the time Victoria and Evan Shaw were intensely entangled. "Stop wasting your efforts on me. You'd be better off spending this time achieving something so you don't disappoint your father again." With that, I turned and walked away, leaving Victoria alone in the snow. The muddy mess of the past wasn't worth lingering on. Neither was the person I had mistakenly loved. The future held my new life,